of making it, of achieving your dreams, of reaching those lofty goals you've set for yourself. And let me tell you, it's not going to be easy. But you know what? You're going to make it. You're going to make it because you have the fire, the drive, and the determination to push through any obstacle that comes your way. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jim, it's easy for you to say that. You've already made it. Well, let me tell you something. I wasn't always like this. There was a time when I was just like you, scratching and clawing my way through life, trying to figure out what it all meant. I had big dreams. Sure, but I also had doubts. I had fears. I had moments where I wondered if I was ever going to make it. But you know what kept me going? It was the belief, the unwavering belief, that I was destined for something greater, that all the hard work, all the sacrifices, all the late nights and early mornings would eventually pay off. And let me tell you, they did. But it didn't happen overnight. It took years of dedication, years of pushing myself to my limits, years of refusing to give up even when the odds seemed stacked against me. And that's the thing, my friends. If you want to make it, you've got to be willing to put in the work. You've got to be willing to sacrifice. You've got to be willing to push through the pain, the doubt, and the fear that will inevitably creep in along the way. Because let me tell you, it's not going to be easy.
Woo! Let's go. Let's go. Good morning, fam. Rise and shine. Another blessed and grateful day coming up to the last couple days of the month, May 30th, May 31st, and we are diving into the summer time. Oh my goodness, the summer of separation. That time is here. What's going on, fam? Cedric in the building. Talina, it's good to see you. Lovely. Bobby, let's go. Shane, Talina. Hope everybody's feeling good. Just got inside from that first workout. Yes, that Florida heat is real. Back at it again. I'm already dripping, but it's all good. It's nothing wrong with getting a little outside sauna session for the day. So here we go, fam. Let's go ahead and dive in. Today's topic is going to be another good one. It's going to be the 7 motivations of leaders, and this is going to be a great one to not just be able to go ahead and learn, but duplicate as well, because this is something that every single one of us, I'm telling you, are going to be able to relate to. So happy Thursday. Good to see everybody. JoJo in the building. Let me get live on IG. And as always, fam, let's get the chat flowing with some gratitude. What's everybody grateful for today? What is your word coming into the end of the week, coming into the summer of separation? Let's get into it. Here we go. The 7 motivations of leaders. Awesome. Boom. IG, happy Thursday. It's good to see everybody. So grateful for each of you. So grateful to be alive. Thankful for God. So grateful to be on and running with you with this journey. This is something I do not take for granted. It's something that I look forward to every single day. To be able to get up, to grow, to see the testimonies, to see everybody inching towards their greatness. That's what it's all about. The principle of Kaizen, even 1% every day, it adds up over time. So I'm proud of you, fam. A lot to be thankful for. Today is Thursday, so we've got some calls coming into the evening, packed out schedule coming into the rest of the month. So stay tuned, and let's go ahead and dive into today. The compound effect. Yes, so here we go. The 7 motivations of leaders. This is a good one. You guys are going to like this training, trust me. All right, so first things first, Jim Rohn talks about this, Bob Proctor, John C. Maxwell. This one is pretty universal. So this is coming from the GOATs themselves, right? And the first one they talk about, number 1, is going to be purpose, right? Really for leaders want to do what they were created to do, right? And really essentially what that is to be able to inspire. We aspire to inspire before we expire. Let that sink in. That's a deep one right there. We aspire to inspire before we expire. So in other words, us becoming the best versions of ourselves naturally lights the fire for others to go ahead and do the same. But the problem is many lack purpose. This is why we see so many just drifting through life, going through the same habitual hamster wheel and not really willing to stretch outside of the norm because that purpose isn't there. But when the purpose starts getting aligned, when the purpose is really defined, it's almost like a root is created and it's locked in the ground. So now it doesn't matter what anybody says to the left, what anybody says to the right, we are stepping into our greatness. So if that's you, go ahead and drop some fives down below. If you guys have seen some trials, you've seen some adversity, you've seen some wins, but you're rooted in your purpose. Because you know this is bigger than just you and I. This is bigger than just our family. This is worldwide. There's some students right now that are out in Nigeria. They don't make more than $200 a month. Imagine being able to show them a skill set to make $50, $100 in a day. That's life changing. I have somebody out there that literally had a withdrawal of $7,000 out there in Nigeria. That's enough to go ahead and buy his mom a house. And he's under 25 years old. So what these skill sets can truly do for anybody when they start recognizing their purpose is truly limitless. This is somebody that never made more than $9 an hour. Somebody that was literally digging holes for a living. But he came in as a student, locked in, studying, taking every day to just go ahead and maximize it and squeeze all of the juice that can be made. And that's another thing I've noticed. When you see individuals that are outside of the States, you know, you take an 18-year-old that's from Europe and you take an 18-year-old that's here, it's a completely different world. The 18-year-old in the States, he might be lazy, he might be lackadaisical, but you see the 18-year-old there, they're dressed clean, they're studious, they're on point. Why is that? People are raised different in different areas of the world. So when you get to travel, when you get to experience different cultures, you get to see things from a different lens, right? Even though there might be a lot of 18-year-olds around us that might be going out a lot, but when you go to a different country, there's 18-year-olds that are locked in, studying, reading, listening to audios. And that's what happened to me. The individuals I was hanging around with in college, they didn't have goals. They didn't have vision. So guess what I had? I had a pretty similar lifestyle because this is how life works. We become the average of the 5 that we surround ourselves with most, right? Well, my 5, they weren't doing a whole lot outside of work. They weren't doing anything to really better themselves outside of sports. And I ended up falling into that lane. And then here's what happened. I got introduced to real mentorship. I got introduced to real skill sets. I got introduced to books and audios, and I started to see things at a completely different lens, just like Neno talked about this morning. I went from somebody who was living in my car complaining, saying, why is everything happening to me, to start saying, you know what? I can actually take control of this life. I actually do have a purpose. I actually am made to do more than just exist and pay bills. But you know what it took? For me, it took my sister passing. It took me going to a nursing home before I finished college to go ask hundreds of individuals at 80, 85, 90 years old, what would you do if you had a little bit more time to live? If you could go back in the past 20 years, every single person had something they regretted. Some wish they would have committed to their dancing. Some were phenomenal writers. Some had some creative ideas that you'd never believe, but they never went after them. So they never got to actually see what that fruit could produce. And it was in these moments when I was getting out of college, when all of this was happening, that I started to develop my purpose. When my sister passed at 28, I saw that time moves quick. Time doesn't wait on anybody. So it was that day, I'll never forget it, when I made that decision. I'm not here to just exist. I'm here to have my last name ring for decades. And it was crazy. The law of attraction, visualization, I started getting obsessed with it. And I started coming across individuals like Tony Robbins, Robin Sharma, the monk that sold his Ferrari. And it talked about how there's 2 types of people inside of that book. There's somebody that chases the currency, and there's somebody that chases a legacy. Somebody that chases the currency, that's cool, but how many people show up to your funeral? 12, 15? That didn't excite me. But somebody that creates a legacy, your income can touch your children's income. Your last name can ring for generations to come. And the only way to really do that, he says, is to be able to help people. Is to be able to give back and to truly be of service. That was it. That's literally where my purpose was born. One candle to go and light countless other candles. That was my purpose. That's where my purpose got sparked. So it might be different for you. Might be a situation in life. It might be getting around mentorship. It might be starting to read and listen to audios. But I'm telling you, as we start to elevate and we start to go ahead and shed off all of the armor that's not really us, we chip away the fat that's not really there, and we start to see the real inside authentic self. There's a beautiful visualization that talks about this, Michelangelo, and it's a statue of this huge fat guy. The bottom of his body, his legs down, is 400 pounds. He's huge, but his top upper half, he's absolutely chiseled. Matter of fact, let me see if I want to try this one time. Let's see if we can share my screen one more time. Let me pull this up real quick. Michelangelo. Here we go. So give me 2 seconds. I want to see if you guys can see this. Michelangelo statue. Here we go. Statue of David. Awesome. All right, so let me see if you guys can see this. Let me share the screen. Give me 2 seconds. Boom. All right. Let me know. Can you guys see that? Yes? Is it good? You guys can see my screen? Yes. Perfect. All right, cool. So let me go ahead and pull this up. You guys can actually go and read this. Michelangelo, there's a whole story about what he talks about, chipping away everything that isn't David. Images. Here it is. Where'd it go? Ah. All right, I'll have to go back and find it. But basically, it's pretty much a statue where he's completely shredded on the upper half and the bottom is fat, and he's chipping away the fat. And this is what happens when we start to identify your purpose. When the purpose gets aligned, you have to see that everything starts to fall off. The people that we didn't need to be hanging out with, what we didn't need to be listening to, the habitual habits and routines that doesn't serve us, this is where things really start to flow. So number one is going to be purpose. The first motivation for any leader is going to be purpose. Having a sense that we're actually bringing value to the world. Number two is going to be autonomy. Leaders want to feel freedom and control of their lives. For me, over the years, I've had the privilege to be able to get around and study some of the top 1%ers inside of the world and inside of the industry. And what I've noticed is everybody's passion, everybody's vision, it might be completely different. But something I do know is we all have one thing in common, and that's time freedom. Right? To be able to live life on our terms. For me, I wanted to be able to throw a dart at a map and be able to go fly there next week if I wanted. To experience the culture, to be able to go and be a digital nomad if that was something I wanted to do for the month. So everybody is looking for time freedom. So when you go out and talk to people, yes, their vision might be different. Yes, they might have a different passion, but I'm telling you right now, we all have time freedom in common. And this is why we all can relate. Imagine if money wasn't a thing. What would you guys be doing right now? If you didn't have to clock into work, I want to ask everybody. How would you be spending your time? What are some of your hobbies that you guys like to do? Go look at Alex Morton. Alex Morton's in a different country every single month. He's in the hot air balloons. He's over in Dubai. He's swimming with the sharks. He's in the canyons in some of the most beautiful places in the world. So Neno talked about it this morning. It takes creating this vision. It takes building this before it even happens. What does life look like when money's not a thing? What are we doing? What are the experiences that we have? What are the memories that we're going to go ahead and make? And my mentor would say, okay, so now you know the places. Go look up that plane ticket. And then I want you to go look up Airbnbs. I want you to actually see what it looks like to stay there. Go see the cost. Go feel it out. And you'll start to see that your brain opens up completely. And we start to step into this feeling. So what does life look like when money's not an issue? This is huge. Really building autonomy. Okay. Number 3 is going to be relationships. You see, I've started to notice looking at others, like Matt Rosa, the Jason Browns, the Darwin Lopez's, the Teacup Lou's. They can do all of these amazing things. But even learning from them, I've started to see it's great going by yourself. You go fast by yourself. But to really go far, you need a family. You need a team. You need the strengths of other people, a community. I learned this a long time ago getting out of college. You see, being successful in sports, you need a team, right? You need the strengths of other players. There's no I in team. Well, the same thing goes in business, relationships. Neno talked about it earlier. There's key individuals that came into his life that literally put their strengths together, and that's where he exploded to Quantum Leap. So believe it or not, there's relationships that we haven't even made yet, that the synergy that's going to be created is absolutely outrageous. Same thing with all of us right now. The synergy that these rising tides are raising, that's why they say rising tides raises all ships. So the power of relationships, that's why for me, my goal is to make 5 new relationships every day, whether that be in person, whether they be online. I know the power of continually expanding the network. We have a saying in the industry, it's called ABC, right? Always. Jojo went to a huge event the other day. Shout out to you. Always be connecting. You never know where that one relationship could truly go. Okay. So that's huge. Next, here's number 3. Or number 4. Number 4 is progress, right? Leaders get motivated by progress. And I believe this is true for really anybody. Progress is an essential part of our lives. And for many of us, we haven't really got recognized, maybe since we were kids. How many of you guys have some trophies, maybe playing sports, doing a couple things when you were younger, right? Go ahead and drop some 3s down below. I got a couple sitting in the garage still. But it's interesting. Getting into high school and getting into college and definitely getting out of college, there's not too many times that we often get praised. And you know what's interesting about recognition? They say babies will cry for it, but grown adults like you and I will die for it. People will die to go ahead and get recognized, to go ahead and feel valued. Got your martial arts in there? Love to see it. So this is big. This is why every single week we do a lot of different things to go ahead and recognize the success that's how you guys see it with trading. If you guys get 70% or above for the week, send your info in, send your picture, and guess what? You're going to get recognized. You're going to get a flyer shouted out just for you. You hit a certain number of sales. Boom, you guys are going to get a flyer. You hit a rank, you're going to get a flyer. You get your 2 and free, you get a flyer. New member comes in, welcome. They're getting recognized. You see, all of this is not by coincidence. All of this is designed very methodically because we understand how important it is to go ahead and recognize. You see, anytime you guys get a win in the group chat, throw it in there. We want to celebrate your success because what we celebrate, we accelerate. So it's big. You guys have anything going on, drop it down in the chat. It's huge. It's literally throwing logs on the fire because when you celebrate somebody else's win, you're literally telling God, the universe, that you're accepting and waiting for your miracles to come back into your lap because your hands are open. But the moment that we don't celebrate other people, we don't shout them out online, we don't show any love in the group chats, we're not showing good mornings, the hands are closed. The blessings are blocked. There's no way to receive when the hands are closed, right? So when you give love to others, guess what? Love is going to be able to come back tenfold. So if we don't show any love and we wonder why we don't get love back, this is a huge reason why. This is how social media works. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the more that you like, the more you engage with other people, guess what happens to your algorithm? The bigger your algorithm is going to get. But if you're somebody who doesn't really like, you don't comment, you just kind of sit and you might scroll, the algorithm is going to shrink. And then when you put out a post and you wonder why you only get a couple pieces of engagement, this might be a huge reason that could definitely help out a lot. So that's recognition. Okay. Last but not least is going to be money. They say money's kind of like oxygen, right? Without it, it's hard to breathe, right? At the end of the day, not many people like to talk about money, but here's the truth. Money actually dictates a lot of things. Money dictates what we drive. Money dictates where we live. Money dictates where the children might end up going to school. Money ends up dictating maybe your grandparents need to go to a nursing home. That's very expensive. I don't know if you guys know it. It's about $5,500 to $7,500 a month, depending on where you're at, right? The foods that we eat. Yeah, you can eat on a budget, but to be honest, eating healthy is not really, it takes a little bit of money to go ahead and really eat healthy, right? Eating alkaline foods, drinking alkaline liquid. Family, I have a $4,000 machine sitting inside of my living room at my kitchen to produce literally 3 levels of pH alkaline water, because I know how powerful it is to take care of our body. We only get one temple. You see, the problem with a lot of people is they want to play now, but they're going to have to pay the price later. Not taking care of our health now, it's going to cost. People think, D, why would you spend $3,000 on a water machine? There's no way I would ever do that. Well, let me ask you this. Would you rather spend $3,000 now, finance it, build your credit, or would you rather wait years later to pay tens, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for, I don't even need to say it, but you guys get the idea of where it is that I'm going, right? Pay the price now before it becomes a huge price a lot later on. That's why we're so locked in right now. That's why I've been doing this since 2017, locked in, loaded, because I'd rather take these years now to build this foundation, to build this huge egg that's going to be able to produce and grow as time expands. So money isn't everything, but it's kind of like oxygen. Without it, it's tough to breathe. So in this time, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but here's the real truth. We are living in what is called a silent depression. So if you guys want to go ahead and Google that, you can do your research getting off this call. But there's a reason why so many are fearful. Money and inflation, it keeps going up, and it's getting harder for people to pay their bills, because this is what's happening, okay? The split between the wealthy and the poor is going to widen. There's not going to be a middle class anymore. It's literally going to be one of two sides. And the decisions that we take today is going to literally dictate what side that we go on. As brutal, as raw as that sounds, I'd be a bad mentor if I didn't put you guys on game. If I didn't allow you guys to know what I believe, what some of the top 1% are giving plenty of hints of what's coming on the way. Family, there's billionaires investing into bunkers right now. Why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think they're spending all of this money investing into things like this? Because they know something that the average person doesn't. And once again, if I could really wake you guys up, go watch these movies if you don't believe me. I'm not the biggest movie watcher. I've watched probably 2 movies in the past handful of years, but this is one of them. Leave the World Behind, okay? And the other one is called Ready Player One. Now, if you look at something, here's what's really interesting. In this time, there's going to be a lot of people that end up sliding into the poor scale. And it's not because they're not educated. It's not because they're not phenomenal people. It really comes down to access to information and taking action with it. That's really it. No, we're nobody special. But here's the interesting thing. When people are making the same money at their jobs, but prices continue to go up, what do you think happens to most people? Most people are going to slide into that scale on the lower end. But here's what happens on the other side. Pay attention. In every disaster, guess what happens? There's opportunity. In every disaster, There's opportunity. So guess what? During recessions, during depressions, during wars, this is the times when some of the most money is made. If you don't believe me, go back and look at history. Do your research. There's a reason why they say history repeats itself, because it absolutely does. So in times like this, while most people are fearful, guess what? The 1%, the 5%, they're drooling at the mouth because they know how much opportunity is here, how much opportunity is here for real estate, how much opportunity is here for crypto, how much opportunity is here for investing, how much opportunity there is to be able to invest in ourselves and create a business, earn residual income, network marketing, the e-learning space. Fam, there's going to be more millionaires created during this time than any other time created yet in history. Through technology, through AI, through the continual advancements that are happening every single day. But at the same time, there's a lot of people living in fear. So we get to decide, which side do we want to live on? The red pill or the blue pill? Living a life of scarcity, a life of lack, a life of limitedness, or a life living in abundance, a life of possibility, a life of limitless opportunity. Which side would you guys rather take? Because the choice is ours. You let me know. Blue pill, take the adventure. These are the best of times for those who know and the worst of times for those who don't know. So couldn't have said it better myself. Tony Robbins actually has a really interesting quote as well. Let me see if I can find this real quick. This is actually a good one. He says, here we go. Bad times create, oh, here we go. Hard times create strong men create good times, and good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. I'm gonna say that one more time. Let that sink in. This is deep right here. Let me actually show you guys this so you can see it. It's real as it gets. I'm telling you, the 1%, they know this. Here it is. Check this out. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. A weak man creates hard times. So this is it right here. I don't know if you guys are paying attention right now. Hard times create strong men and women. Strong men and women create good times. So think about this. In a time right now where there's so much fear, there's so much going on, every one of us has the opportunity to go ahead and take advantage and literally max out what's sitting at our fingertips. Some people have been waiting for years, for decades, to get the opportunity like we have. And we have it with crypto, with advancements, with e-learning, with the space that we're in. So it's safe to say that all 7 of these motivations are, oh, you can't see that? Of course. It's all good. So it's safe to say that all 7 of these motivations, we all can relate to these. So go ahead and drop down what number below. Which one do you guys relate to? Which one really resonates with you? And I can tell you right now, this is just the beginning of absolute abundance, growth, transformation, elevation, all different areas. So fam, I appreciate you guys. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was from today. And this is Thursday. Today's a day that we've never seen before and a day that we'll never see again. So let's go out and make the most of it. If nobody told you today, let me be the first to tell you, fam, I'm proud of you. I see the growth. I see the elevation. I see every one of you putting in the time. It doesn't go unseen. And I know without a doubt, this is going to compound into a phenomenal 2024. So fam, remember, we can be, do, and have anything. We can hold our mind. We can hold it right here in our hand. It's game time, Dream Team. Let's get to work. Dream to reality. Let's grow.